So I have one more little quick video or prompt. Well, it's not really a prompt, it's more of a process kind of thing to discuss with you all. One of the challenges or one of the problems, or I don't know how to describe it, in all my teaching of art was how people kind of forget how to make art. So I always think about children, and how easily they can make things, how they draw and paint with a lot of freedom, and they make interesting things. And at some point, people lose the ability to do that. And I think a lot of it has to do with learning how to control your natural mark. And this happens in school when we learn how to print, to write. We learn how to control the pressure, the speed, the control in the sense of keeping it all the same. We never change the pressure of our pencil. We print and write pretty much in the same speed, at least we're told to do that, and everything stays consistent so it's legible. And this really contributes to a loss of freedom of movement in terms of making marks and painting and also in drawing. And I always notice that with my students. They would come into class and in a sense, they were I would tell them they were writing their drawing, so they're just kind of trying to be really consistent with the mark making and instead of being free. So I would just like you all, if you're interested, whoever's interested, to do this, to kind of do a little exercise where you try to loosen up your hand and think more rhythmically with your mark making. And do this with watercolor, like one of your brushes, get some pigment out and let your brush your brush, do it with paint. Let it just move across through the paper in a more rhythmic, almost calligraphic manner. And shift it around, turn it, vary the pressure. And create a painting of just marks. A single color is fine. I'm just gonna quickly do this. It's not like that big of a deal. But try for a variety of approaches. Turn the brush, push it down, change its angle to the paper. That's a real important thing. Change the amount of pressure you apply to get a fat mark or a little skinny mark. Push the brush. But the main thing is to sort of resist conformity of mark making, to make something really interesting and free, something that moves rhythmically. So often when somebody paints, they just sort of fill in the spaces in a predictable manner. Whenever I've juried art shows, I always, especially when it comes to painting, I always look to see what the artist has done in between the spaces, in between the apple and the vase. What does that space look like? Is it interesting? Or are they just filling it in? And frequently, all they're doing is filling it in instead of painting it in an interesting way. A painting is interesting if it's made with interesting marks. So try to get a feel for this whole idea. Just do a couple exercises like this if you are so inclined, and then carry that sort of muscle memory onto when you're painting a subject. If it doesn't have to be abstract, it can be the water or the sky or whatever it is you're painting. You can do it in this sort of manner. Okay, the trip is coming up. I am very excited about it. That's a good Zoom meeting the other day. It was a pleasure to meet you all. I'm looking forward to making some art with you. Talk to you soon. Thank you.